Hey there, this is important information.
If you work as a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, certain state, local government employees, or you are married to one or were married to one, I'm going to talk about Windfall Elimination Program. Not really talking about the one that hits the spouses, the government pension offset, but that's out there too. So if you work for the military, you don't got to watch this video. This video is not for you because you paid into Social Security. But if you're a government employee, like I said, all across the board, it could be you, and you didn't pay into Social Security, now you're going to have a problem at retirement. And you don't know about it because if you go online to look at your Social Security account, it doesn't say anything about it. It's not on your statement. You'll find out about it when you go to file. So a lot of people, let's say teachers, specifically teachers in Texas and Ohio seem to be in my comments the most. And they're like, okay, I'm planning on my retirement. I'm going to get this much for my teacher's retirement. And I also worked before I became a teacher. I worked for 10 years. So I'm also going to get this much for Social Security. And the answer is your numbers are off. Because the government said this was double dipping. You're going to get a government pension and you want to get your Social Security? Government said, no, that's too much money. They call it a windfall. So to keep you from getting too much money, if you have what they call a covered pension, which means a pension, could be state, local, federal government, that you did not pay into Social Security taxes, but you also work, because like a lot of firefighters, they work part-time. So they're going to get their government pension, but they also work a part-time job for 15, 20 years, right? And they paid into Social Security in their part-time job. So if you're in that situation, that your pension wasn't covered, you didn't pay Social Security here, they're going to reduce your Social Security. Yeah, that's why I never want to talk about it. It's so depressing. I don't feel like it's fair. They're going to reduce your Social Security by up to $558 a month this year. So it's capped every year. And then, of course, the cap goes up every year. So for this year, you might think you're going to get an extra $558 a month that you're not getting because you fall into windfall, the double dipping. I know. So you're like, well, I heard they got rid of it. Yeah, they put forth legislation every year. They had a big one called the Social Security Fairness Act they put forth last year. It never passes. They put them forth all the time. They're unlikely to pass. So people always say, do you think you're going to get rid of it? No, I don't think they'll ever get rid of it. I don't. Because getting rid of it would take more money out of the government. The government wants something to bring money in, taxes, or revenue neutral. So yeah, I don't think this will ever change. I think you are stuck with this. Now, there are some ways you can strategically try to get around it. Not really, but if, let's say you were that firefighter and you worked for 30 years and paid into Social Security, windfall goes away. It goes away at 30 years. It's unlikely you're going to do that, but that is out there. Now, if you work 20 years, that's more likely, right? You work 20 years, it starts phasing down. So instead of taking out $558, if you work 25 years, they take out about half that. Or the whole chart. I'll put it on the screen. So you might look at the chart and you might say, maybe I want to work 1 or 2 more years and strategize with that because you were right at 18 or 19 or 20 years and you want to just work a couple more to get that permanent reduction in your Social Security reduce a little bit more. Okay, so you do have that ability. Okay, so what states are primarily impacted by the windfall? And it's 15 states in 2023. Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut. Georgia's a weird one because not all school districts in Georgia didn't pay FICA. Some did, some didn't. That's the same in Kentucky. It's kind of weird. So you can't ask me, am I going to be impacted in Georgia or Kentucky? I don't know because I don't know what your school district did. Illinois, Louisiana, Minnesota, Maine, Missouri, Nevada, Ohio, Rhode Island, and Texas. So those are your main states. Remember, it is not the military. The military pays into Social Security taxes, so they are cool. But a lot of times they get a military pension. They work there for 20 years. They retire at 40, and then they go to work for the federal government, work another 20 years, get another pension. Okay, so that other pension, if they're going to get that full pension, and they're going to get their full Social Security, that's where it's too much money. The government said it's just too much money. It's double dipping. it is a windfall. Again, I'm not going to go into the corollary, which would impact your spouse or your surviving spouse, but it's the same thing. They're going to get a reduced amount. You can Google that, government pension offset. Tell me what you feel about this. I know it's not going to be pretty in the comments.